Linda, with everything that's going on right now, leaders are feeling tired and that there's just not enough hours in the day. What are you hearing?
Yeah, well, I'm hearing exactly the same sort of thing, Michaela. I think there's definitely a kind of a loss of energy, a tiredness, fatigue. You can feel the drop in
Mm.
energy that's happening out there just now. I mean, it's been nearly a year now that we've been working through these COVID challenges. It's been quite relentless, hasn't it? And that's brought quite a lot of pressure to our services, hasn't it? In terms of services starting, services stopping, people being redeployed, having to shield or being off sick. So there's so many different things which have happened in this last year that people have never had to deal with before. I mean, in the NHS, we're quite used to change, aren't we?
Mm.
We are. However, this, as Boris would say, this really has been unprecedented. And again, on top of all of the COVID stuff, there's been the usual winter pressures, which always is always a challenging time of year for colleagues. So I think what I'm definitely feeling is a sense that people are looking forward to kind of getting beyond this time and sort of looking forward to the brighter, lighter days that hopefully spring and summer are going to bring us.
Yeah. And we know that taking care of yourself is really important for you to be able to support others. What tips would you recommend that could help manage time and reduce some of that pressure on our leaders?
Okay, so I think the first thing to say is, it's really important that leaders prioritize looking after themselves. I think it's a natural thing as leaders that we tend to focus on looking after our team, but you can't do that well if you're not looking after yourself. And being able to role model a bit of vulnerability and say, you know what, today, guys, I'm just not okay. And I could really use some help is a good thing,
Mm.
because that then allows your team to do the same back to you as leader. Say I'm not okay as well. If they can see that you're human, they can be human with you. I mean, and there's so much amazing support available for colleagues, through our wellbeing team, through Resolve, and through the work that we do as well. So it's about taking that as well. But in terms of sort of managing the workload, I guess there's something in there, isn't there, about just being able to say no, or perhaps just not right now.
Yeah.
We want to remain connected to our teams, and that's really important. For everyone right now, that we feel connected to our leaders. However, that doesn't mean to say as a leader that you need to be on all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
You don't have to be available outside of your working hours, into the evening, early morning, have your phone switched on, be answering emails. That's not something that we expect, our leaders to do. So, as a little tip, which might help, if you're working on a base, could you print out your calendar? Put that on the door so that people know when they can catch you. They could see perhaps when you're in meetings or when you're free. And for them, it's far better because they're then going to get a far more sensible answer from you. If you're able to kind of give them your full attention. And if you're not working on a base and working from home, as many colleagues are at the moment, can you give your colleagues access to your electronic diary so they can see that way and contact you at the times when you're not busy in meetings?
Yeah.
So just a couple of tips there.
Yeah, that's something we do is sharing diaries, and that does help because I can check when you're training.
That's
So
right.
so what do you do personally to help manage your time?
Yeah, I think if I remember back to a time, when I was an operational leader, I do remember reaching that point of feeling completely overwhelmed and just, I had emails coming at me from every direction, staff wanting things, constantly knocking on the door with issues, problems, stuff that needed to be done. That I'd kind of got so busy that actually I'd stopped functioning. I'd stopped writing things down and I was holding it all in my head, which was making me feel sort of immobilized almost. I was so busy. So what my line manager did at that time was she got me to do an urgent important matrix.
Oh yeah.
Now that sounds something fancy, doesn't it? But actually all it is was a piece of flip chart paper and some sticky notes. And what we did was we just sat and we looked at everything that I had on, what was urgent, and what was important, and she got me to kind of stick them into the different columns on the page. And then what we did was we looked at, okay, so which of these really urgent things do you have to do, or did I have to do? And what potentially could I ask my colleagues to support me with? So that kind of reduced the list there. And we did the same for my important tasks. What could I do? What could I ask my colleagues to do? And then what we did was we then took the urgent tasks and we ordered them. So, you know, I looked at them and like, right, what's number 1 task I have to do? What's number 2 task? What's number 3 task? And just taking that half an hour to do that really just sort of helped me to kind of regain control over what was happening and focus and crack on. You know, so that really was really helpful, really helpful.
And I think it's important to have the emotional support, which we discussed earlier on, especially when you need it and with what's going on at the moment, but also to have some of those practical things that might help when it does feel like sometimes there's too many tasks in a day. So is there anything else you'd like our leaders to know, Linda?
I think it's really important to say to leaders that actually nobody expects you to have all the answers.
Yeah.
Because we're all doing this, you know, we're all going through this for the first time. So you don't have a magic wand. We don't have all the answers. And that it's okay to ask for help. You know, it is absolutely okay. And help is out there. I mean, I guess that's one of the great things about being a leader in our organizations is that, you know, we are a large group of colleagues, and the chances are that someone will have done what you're trying to do before, will have experience in what you're trying to do. So there's always somewhere that or someone that you can reach out to for help or support. So you never have to do things on your own. I mean, we've done a lot of work, haven't we, Michaela, on our pages on focus and on my DCHS, you know, to try and capture key things that we think or that we're hearing that leaders need right now, and sort of really distill them down to short bite-size webinars, you know, 5 minutes on this, so you just get the basics of what it is you need to be doing, and then you can crack on and get it done. You know, so these sort of short sessions as well as longer ones for those who feel that they might want more input, but just sort of trying to create a variety of different learning opportunities for people depending on where they're at. So you know, our pages are kept live, they're kept up to date with the latest information. You know, we put that out onto the weekly emails as well, so that people can link in with us. So, you know, I think it's about reaching out, looking for the help that's there, and being open to taking it.
Yeah, well, thank you for that, Linda. We are here to help and support. So please, if you need anything, please do make contact with us. Thanks, Linda.
Thanks, Michaela.